Why do we feel so empty when everything we need is just a click away? Every morning, millions of people wake up not with purpose, but with a notification. Their first breath is met not by silence, but by the digital hum of demands. Deliver here, log in now, clock in fast, and like that, the day begins. Not by choice, but by obligation. A quiet surrender to an invisible algorithm. She drives for Uber 12 hours a day. No boss, no office. "I'm my own boss," she says, as she eats her lunch in the driver's seat, her spine bent, her smile forced. He packs boxes in a warehouse run by machines, monitored by sensors, rewarded by milliseconds saved. "At least I have a job," he whispers, even as his joints scream louder each week. We were promised freedom, flexibility, innovation. But instead of liberation, we got fragmentation. We work for platforms we don't own, serve systems we don't control, and fulfill tasks we don't understand, all under the illusion of autonomy. Alienation today no longer looks like the factory line Marx described. It looks like freedom, with a price tag. It wears the mask of independence but tastes like exhaustion. And perhaps the cruelest part? The labor is invisible, no longer chained to a machine. The modern worker is chained to himself, his phone, his schedule, his hustle. He cannot revolt against a boss he never sees. He cannot reclaim time that he believes he owns. The result? A society of anxious individuals, all hyper-connected yet deeply isolated. The human touch replaced by 5 stars. The dream of stability replaced by surge pricing. And we must ask, if we are more productive than ever before, why are we more anxious, more exhausted, and more alone? Alienation has evolved. It has adapted, and it now hides in convenience. They told us we were free. But how free can we be when our desires are manufactured? Step into any online store, Amazon for instance, and you'll find a universe at your fingertips. Not things, but promises, identity, comfort, status, love. Click by click, the commodity wraps itself around our self-image. You are no longer just buying shoes. You are buying the illusion of motion, of success, of being seen. A smartwatch no longer just tells time. It tells the world that your time matters. This is not a marketplace. It is a cathedral of longing. But behind every package on your doorstep is a human being who will never afford what they deliver. A worker who walks miles in a warehouse where rest is rebellion. A picker with a quota, a timer, a tracker. And always the threat, fall behind and disappear. This is the fetishism of the commodity. Marx warned us, when things begin to carry more meaning than people, the world turns upside down. We don't see the labor, only the product. We don't see the pain, only the polish. And in this upside-down world, even consciousness is a product. The algorithm shows you what to desire. The feed tells you who to be. The ad knows what you're missing before you do. Alienation is no longer confined to the workplace. It has invaded the mind. It whispers in the language of choice, but speaks with the voice of capital. You scroll through images of joy while silently negotiating your own despair. You compare your life to people you'll never meet, in places you'll never go, filtered through illusions you'll never question. And still, you wonder why you feel so distant from yourself. Capitalism no longer just owns your labor. It rents your attention, leases your imagination, and sells it back to you in monthly installments. What if your freedom was designed in a boardroom? We live in an age obsessed with choices. From ride-sharing apps to food delivery services, from freelance gigs to content platforms, we are constantly offered a buffet of options. Click here, tap there, customize, subscribe, cancel anytime. But is this freedom, or just a beautifully packaged illusion? The modern worker is told, you choose your hours, you pick your gigs, you are in control. Yet beneath this surface of autonomy lies a brutal truth. The real power lies elsewhere. You don't choose the rates, you don't set the rules, you don't design the system. You simply float inside it, surviving. The gig economy is not a revolution. It is a reincarnation, old exploitation dressed in new clothes. A precarious worker still sells his time. Only now, he must also sell his smile, his rating, his self. And here lies the core of alienation, when your survival depends not only on your labor, but on your performance of happiness. Your 5-star self must always be available. Tired? Keep going. Sick? Work anyway. Burned out? Just hustle harder. You begin to fracture. The part of you that dreams, that rests, that exists outside the app. It fades. You become an actor in a play you didn't write, a ghost haunting your own body. Karl Marx once wrote, "The more the worker expends himself in work, the more powerful becomes the world of objects which he creates, and the poorer he becomes in his inner life." Today, those objects are no longer just physical. They are digital, algorithmic, datafied. And so is your worth. You are told you are free, while your data is harvested, your behavior predicted, and your path narrowed by an invisible hand, not of the market, but of code. So again, we must ask, if this is freedom, why does it feel like we're running in circles, with no door, no map, no rest? Alienation now wears a friendly interface. Who are you when you're not producing? Ask someone, what do you do? And they will answer with their job title, not their dreams, not their story, not their soul. Because in this system, your worth is your output, your value is your productivity. We are conditioned to equate identity with labor. A man who delivers groceries isn't seen as a father, a poet, a thinker. He is just a driver. A woman working 3 jobs to survive isn't viewed as resilient. She is low-skilled. But behind every label is a life, and behind every life is a fracture. Alienation begins here, when you are no longer a person but a function, when your spirit is reduced to a task, when your imagination is measured by metrics, and yet we internalize it. We wear our exhaustion like a badge of honor. We say, "I've been so busy," as if that makes us real. We hustle, grind, overwork, not just to live, but to feel alive. But what happens when the job ends? When the platform cuts you off? When the company disappears? You disappear with it. This is the hidden violence of capitalism. It convinces you that your job is your identity, and then it makes your job disposable. And here's the paradox. We are more connected than ever, yet more alone. More employed, yet more unstable. More empowered, yet more lost. Alienation is not just economic, it's existential. Karl Marx saw this long before our digital chains. The worker no longer feels himself to be freely active in any but his animal functions, eating, drinking, procreating. What is animal becomes human, and what is human becomes animal. We wake, we work, we consume, and we forget what it means to simply be. To breathe without purpose, to exist without performance, to feel without monetizing the feeling. So let me ask you this. When was the last time you did something, not for profit, not for metrics, not for likes, but for yourself? If you feel exhausted, someone is getting rich. Alienation is not an accident, it is a feature. A system designed to extract the most from your body, your time, your emotions, and give the least in return. A system where your suffering is someone else's business model. Think of the delivery driver who races against the clock. His urgency creates value. The faster he moves, the more convenient it becomes for the consumer. But who captures the profit? Not him, not the customer, but the platform, the middleman who risks nothing and gains everything. This is the truth Marx laid bare in the 19th century. Surplus value is the unpaid labor of the worker. In modern terms, you are paid for the hour. They keep the profit from the pressure. Uber doesn't own cars. Amazon doesn't write books. Airbnb doesn't build homes. They own the interface, the algorithm, the data. And with that power, they redefine the rules, making workers interchangeable, invisible, and eternally replaceable. Every five-star review hides a story of someone who skipped lunch. Every next-day delivery is powered by a spine bent under quotas. Every convenience has a cost, and it's paid in human wear. And what do you receive in return? A few dollars, a digital badge, the illusion that you're part of something bigger, when in truth you're alone, on your own, and easily discarded. This is the essence of exploitation today, when you're told you're lucky to have work, even as that work slowly breaks you. Your alienation is monetized, your burnout is scalable, your despair is a line in someone's quarterly report. So we must ask, if the system profits from your exhaustion, why would it ever want you to be well? The answer is simple. It doesn't. What is your time worth when it's no longer yours? In the age of gig work and AI automation, time no longer flows. It ticks. Every moment is tracked, scheduled, optimized. Your minutes are monetized. Your seconds are sold. But not to you. We no longer live time. We serve it. A driver's time is dictated by surge pricing. A freelancer's time is consumed by clients across continents, chasing payments that never match the hours. Even your rest is invaded. Emails at midnight, notifications before dawn. You're never truly off. You're just on pause. And here lies one of the deepest wounds of alienation. You don't own the rhythm of your own life. Marx spoke of this theft over a century ago. Time is everything, man is nothing. He is at most times carcass. This isn't just poetic, it's prophetic. You are drained not because you are lazy, but because you are overclocked. The system does not want your creativity, your joy, your full humanity. It wants your availability, and in return, you are given distractions. Entertainment on demand, streaming, scrolling, swiping, but none of it nourishes. None of it restores what was taken. Your weekends are not yours. They're recovery time. Your vacations are not escapes. They're rented illusions. You don't rest. You refuel. Time, once the canvas of life, has become the currency of survival. And when time is stolen, so is life itself. So I ask you, when did we stop living and start just filling in schedules? And what would it mean to reclaim time? Not just minutes or hours, but time as meaning, as presence, as life. Alienation is not just working too much. It is forgetting what life felt like before everything was urgent. Is technology serving us or surveilling us? We were told that AI, automation, and digital platforms would liberate us from toil. That machines would take over the mundane, and humans could finally be free to think, to create, to be. But instead of liberation, we got acceleration. Instead of rest, we got optimization. Instead of a break, we got a boss that never sleeps. The algorithm watches, not to protect you, but to perfect your performance. It tracks your speed, your tone, your response rate. It learns your weaknesses, not to help you grow, but to squeeze more value before you burn out. In this world, even your failures become data. You are not a worker, you are a data set. And here lies a new layer of alienation. You are no longer alienated only from the product, or from your fellow workers, or from yourself. You are now alienated from control. Control over the conditions of your labor, over your visibility, over your fate. An AI decides who gets the job. A rating determines your survival. A platform shadow bans you without explanation. Your future is dictated by formulas you cannot see, let alone challenge. This is no longer just capitalism. It is techno-capitalism, where ideology hides behind interface, and domination wears the mask of efficiency. Karl Marx could not have foreseen the exact shape of this world, but he saw its trajectory. Machines were supposed to free man, but instead, they have enslaved him anew. Today, the factory has no walls. It lives in your phone. It follows you home. It learns your habits, and it calls it progress. So I ask you, if your every move is tracked, predicted, and priced, are you still living or just being managed? Alienation in the age of AI is no longer visible. It is coded. What if the system was never broken, but always built this way? We were raised to believe that hard work leads to freedom, that effort brings reward, that success is merit, not structure. But each day we wake up inside a story that doesn't feel like ours. We chase opportunity, only to find ceilings. We strive for security, only to inherit debt. We speak of freedom, but always inside the walls of obligation. And slowly, we begin to realize, this isn't personal failure. It's systemic design. Capitalism, especially in its digital late-stage form, doesn't want citizens. It wants consumers. It doesn't want communities. It wants competitors. It doesn't want critical minds. It wants compliant users. And so the alienation deepens. You are told to be grateful, to adapt, to hustle harder, to find your passion in the very thing that's draining your soul. But what if the problem isn't you? What if you were never meant to thrive in a system that extracts your labor, colonizes your attention, exploits your hope, and then sells you therapy to cope with it? Look around. A generation medicated, distracted, indebted, working more than ever, owning less than ever, trusting almost nothing. Alienation is not just a feeling. It is the emotional symptom of a political truth. You are living in a system that profits when you doubt yourself. Karl Marx said, "The ideas of the ruling class are in every epoch the ruling ideas." Today, those ideas are coded into platforms, streamed through screens, whispered in slogans branded as innovation. But when you finally see it, when you realize that the emptiness inside you is not weakness, but a clue, something begins to shift. You begin to question, to look beneath, to remember, you are not a machine. You are not a rating. You are not a number. You are a human being. And the moment you stop believing the system's story, you begin to write your own. Have you ever felt that no matter how much you work, it's never enough? That despite being more connected, you've never felt so alone? That deep inside, something doesn't add up. Like your life is being rented out to someone else, one task, one shift, one swipe at a time? Maybe you're not broken. Maybe the world is. And maybe, just maybe, it was never built to hold your wholeness. Alienation is not just theory. It's the quiet ache in your chest at 2 a.m. It's the moment you wonder if you'll ever feel truly free. It's the silence after the shift when you ask, is this all there is? But the first step toward freedom is seeing the cage. Karl Marx reminds us, to be radical is to grasp the root of the matter, but for man, the root is man himself. This video is not the answer. It's the question you were not supposed to ask. So ask it, reflect, comment, speak, and if this resonated with you, if this gave voice to something you couldn't name, consider supporting this work through a super thanks. It helps us keep the channel alive, keep the truth sharp and the silence broken. Subscribe if you haven't yet, not just to follow but to wake up with us in the next video. The system profits from your sleep, so let's not sleep anymore.